Hello guys, welcome to Infinite Stories. Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Let's get into the story. Pascal never loved Naomi. Their marriage was arranged, and he saw her as nothing more than an irritation. He openly ignored her, treated her coldly, and entertained other women, never appreciating her quiet support. Naomi, despite his cruelty, remained patient, hoping he would one day change. She played a crucial role in his business, maintaining client relationships and ensuring its success, but Pascal never acknowledged her contributions. Though she endured his mistreatment, Naomi longed for something more. She wanted love, respect, and appreciation, things Pascal never gave her. Despite her sadness, she remained devoted, unaware that her life was about to take a drastic turn that would change everything. Pascal attended an important business dinner with President Michael Patrick, hoping to secure his support. Just as the meeting was going well, Naomi unexpectedly entered the restaurant. The president's eyes lit up with interest as he asked Pascal who she was. Shocked and embarrassed, Pascal immediately denied knowing her. Michael, intrigued by Naomi's beauty and presence, asked again, wanting to be sure she wasn't married. Pascal, blinded by pride, repeated his denial. Michael smiled and said, "Good. That means I can have her." Naomi, hurt but composed, remained silent. Pascal, thinking nothing of it, didn't realize the mistake he had just made. Michael, captivated by Naomi, made a bold move. Right in front of Pascal, he knelt and asked Naomi to marry him. The entire restaurant went silent. Naomi, still stung by Pascal's denial, took a deep breath and, without hesitation, said, "Yes." The crowd erupted in applause, and Pascal froze in shock. As Naomi and Michael walked out together, Pascal felt something he had never felt before: regret. The woman he had dismissed for years was now engaged to the most powerful man in the country. And for the first time, he realized she might never come back. Pascal expected Naomi to reconsider, but she never did. News of her engagement spread quickly, and suddenly, people started seeing him differently. Business partners hesitated to work with him, and investors withdrew their support. Without Naomi, things started falling apart. He tried to act unaffected, but deep down, panic set in. Clients who once admired his business now avoided him. He began realizing a painful truth: his success had never been his alone. Naomi had been his silent pillar, and now that she was gone, everything was crumbling. Pascal's downfall continued. The business world whispered about his losses, and his once thriving company faced ruin. Every call to save his business was met with rejection. His pride had cost him more than just his marriage, it had cost him everything. Meanwhile, Naomi was thriving. Michael treated her like a queen, showering her with love and respect. She was finally experiencing the happiness she had always deserved. While Pascal drowned in regret, Naomi was building a new life, far away from the man who never valued her. Pascal couldn't sleep. The memories of Naomi haunted him. He had always thought she would stay no matter how he treated her. Now, he realized too late that he had lost someone irreplaceable. The jealousy he once dismissed consumed him entirely. Desperate, he tried to reach out to old business partners, but they only shook their heads. "You lost the best thing that ever happened to you," one of them said. The truth was clear: Naomi had been the reason for his success all along. And now that she was gone, his empire was collapsing. News of Pascal's financial struggles spread fast. The media once praised him, but now, they highlighted his failures. His employees whispered about how Naomi had been the true force behind his business. The humiliation was unbearable. Meanwhile, Naomi and Michael's engagement became the talk of the nation. Pascal watched from afar, feeling like an outsider in his own life. He wanted to go back in time, to take back his words, but it was too late. Naomi had moved on. And she wasn't looking back. Unable to take it anymore, Pascal called Naomi, his voice shaking. Please, can we talk? He pleaded. Naomi remained silent for a moment before letting out a soft laugh. You denied me when I needed you most. Now that you've lost everything, you want me back? She asked. Pascal's chest tightened. I was wrong, he admitted. Please, give me a chance. But Naomi was done. There's nothing to fix, she said coldly. Goodbye, Pascal. And with that, she ended the call, leaving him drowning in his regrets. Pascal refused to give up. He went to Naomi's home, begging to see her. The guards turned him away. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't reach her. The world had moved on, and he was nothing more than a forgotten mistake. His business collapsed completely, and he was forced to sell his assets. Once a powerful man, Pascal was now nothing. And the worst part? He had no one to blame but himself. Months passed, and Naomi's wedding day arrived. Pascal watched from a distance, his heart aching. She looked stunning, happier than he had ever seen her. And as she exchanged vows with Michael, Pascal finally accepted the truth: he had lost her forever. As the crowd cheered for the newlyweds, Pascal walked away, a broken man. The woman he had once rejected was now the wife of the most powerful man in the country. And he? He was nothing but a man haunted by his own mistakes. Pascal's life became unbearable. Without Naomi, his business empire had completely crumbled. Former employees whispered behind his back, and old associates ignored his calls. He was no longer the powerful businessman he once was. Instead, he was just another man drowning in failure. Meanwhile, Naomi was flourishing. As Michael's fiancée, she was adored by the public. Her kindness and intelligence won the hearts of many, and she was finally living the life she had always dreamed of. She had no regrets. Losing Pascal had been the best thing that ever happened to her. Pascal had lost everything: his businesses, his reputation, and his wealth. Creditors knocked on his door daily, demanding payments he couldn't make. He had been so confident that he didn't need Naomi, but now he realized she had been the key to his success. Desperation took over. He started selling his properties, but it wasn't enough. The man who once lived in luxury was now struggling to afford basic necessities. And every night, as he lay on his nearly empty bed, one thought haunted him: he had lost Naomi forever. With nowhere else to turn, Pascal tried to rebuild his business, but no one trusted him anymore. Clients who once respected him now laughed at his downfall. He attempted to apologize to the people he had mistreated, but it was too late. His past mistakes had caught up with him. Naomi, on the other hand, was busier than ever. Wedding preparations were in full swing, and Michael made sure she had everything she wanted. While Pascal struggled to survive, Naomi was stepping into a life filled with love, respect, and endless possibilities. One evening, Pascal sat alone in a small, run-down apartment, the only place he could afford. His mind replayed the moment he denied Naomi, the moment he sealed his fate. He had chosen his pride over his wife, and now he was paying the price. Meanwhile, Naomi and Michael attended a charity event together. As they held hands, smiling at the cameras, Pascal watched from the television screen in his tiny apartment. She was radiant, happy, and loved. And she had moved on without him. Pascal couldn't take it anymore. He had to see Naomi, to beg her for one last chance. Swallowing his pride, he made his way to Michael's residence, but the security guard stopped him at the gate. "She doesn't want to see you," one of them said coldly. Frustrated, Pascal waited outside for hours, hoping Naomi would change her mind. But she never came. Eventually, the guards forced him to leave. That night, as he walked through the empty streets, he finally understood: Naomi was truly gone. Naomi no longer thought about Pascal. She was busy planning her wedding, excited for her future with Michael. He treated her like a queen, showing her the love and respect she had always deserved. With him, She felt truly valued. Meanwhile, Pascal had hit rock bottom. He had no business, no home, and no one to turn to. The man who once looked down on Naomi was now beneath her in every way. And as much as he regretted his choices, there was nothing he could do to fix them. The day of Naomi's wedding arrived, and the entire nation watched in admiration. She looked breathtaking as she walked down the aisle, her heart full of love for Michael. It was a moment of pure happiness, a new beginning she had longed for. Pascal, however, was nowhere to be seen. He couldn't bear to watch her marry another man. Instead, he sat alone in his tiny apartment, drowning in misery. He had once taken Naomi for granted, but now, he would give anything to have her back. After Naomi's wedding, Pascal's situation worsened. He was deep in debt, struggling to find work. No one wanted to associate with him anymore. His former business partners now sided with Michael, and he had lost every ounce of respect he once had. For the first time, Pascal understood the true meaning of regret. He had thrown away the best thing in his life, and now, he was suffering the consequences. And the worst part? Naomi was never coming back. As time passed, Pascal realized he had nothing left. His wealth, status, and power had vanished, all because of his arrogance. He had believed he was invincible, but Naomi's absence proved otherwise. She had been the reason for his success, and without her, he was nothing. Naomi, however, was thriving. She had become an inspiration to many, admired for her grace and resilience. With Michael by her side, she had finally found the happiness she deserved. And as Pascal watched from afar, he knew he would spend the rest of his life regretting his mistake. Desperate, Pascal made one final attempt to contact Naomi. He wrote her a heartfelt letter, apologizing for everything he had done. He begged for forgiveness, hoping she would give him another chance. But when Naomi received the letter, she didn't even read it. She had moved on, and nothing Pascal said could change that. Her new life was full of love and happiness, and she refused to let the past hold her back. And as Pascal realized she would never return, he finally understood, some mistakes can never be undone. Pascal finally accepted his fate. Naomi was gone, and nothing could bring her back. He had spent years taking her for granted, and now he was left with nothing but regrets. His arrogance had cost him the most valuable person in his life, and the pain of that realization was unbearable. Meanwhile, Naomi was living her best life. She had built a name for herself alongside Michael, becoming one of the most influential women in the country. She had no time to dwell on the past, her future was far too bright to waste on regrets. Pascal's days became a blur of loneliness and misery. He had no friends, no business, and no respect. He tried to rebuild, but every door remained closed. People had lost faith in him, and without Naomi, he had no influence left. Naomi, however, was thriving. She and Michael traveled the world, attended prestigious events, and continued to impact lives through charity work. She had truly moved on, leaving Pascal as nothing more than a distant memory. One evening, Pascal saw Naomi on television, smiling alongside Michael. Seeing her so happy without him shattered his heart. In a moment of desperation, he decided to visit her one last time, hoping for closure. But when he arrived at her residence, he was turned away immediately. Naomi had made it clear, she had no space for him in her life. Defeated, Pascal walked away, realizing he had lost her forever. Naomi had no anger left for Pascal. She had forgiven him in her heart but had no desire to reconnect. He was a part of her past, and she had no interest in revisiting the pain he had caused. When Pascal attempted to reach out again, she sent a simple message, "I wish you well, but my life has no place for you." With that, she closed the chapter on their past forever. With Naomi's final rejection, Pascal hit his lowest point. He had lost everything, his love, his wealth, and his dignity. He had no one to blame but himself. The life he once mocked was now his reality, and it was unbearable. He considered leaving the city, hoping for a fresh start elsewhere. But deep down, he knew he would carry the weight of his mistakes wherever he went. The damage had already been done. Naomi, on the other hand, was preparing for a new chapter, motherhood. She and Michael had just announced their pregnancy, and the news was celebrated by many. She was surrounded by love, excitement, and support. While Pascal drowned in misery, Naomi embraced the beauty of her new life. She had found the happiness she always deserved, proving that life had rewarded her for her patience and kindness. Pascal eventually heard about Naomi's pregnancy, and it crushed him. The thought of her having a family with another man was more than he could bear. He had always assumed she would wait for him, but now he knew she had completely moved on. For the first time, he accepted reality. Naomi was gone forever, and he had no choice but to live with that pain. His past actions had led him here, and now, there was nothing left for him but regret. As time passed, Pascal faded into obscurity. People no longer spoke of him. His influence had completely disappeared. He had become just another man who let pride ruin his life. Naomi, however, continued to flourish. She and Michael welcomed their child, a beautiful baby boy, into the world. Her life was filled with joy, love, and purpose, everything she had once dreamed of. Years later, Pascal sat alone in a small, empty house. He had lost everything, and his heart ached with loneliness. He thought back to the day he denied Naomi, the day that changed his fate. If only he had chosen love over pride, things might have been different. But life had moved on without him. Naomi had built a future with Michael, and there was no going back. Pascal would spend the rest of his days haunted by what could have been. Naomi's journey had proven one thing: self-worth mattered. She had walked away from a man who didn't value her and found someone who truly cherished her. Her life was now filled with happiness, while Pascal was left with nothing but regret. As she held her son in her arms, surrounded by love and laughter, she knew she had made the right choice. Some people only realize a person's worth when it's too late. And for Pascal, that realization had come far too late. That's the end of the story. What did you learn about the story? Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.